Blessings and abundance. Welcome back to the Zen Effect Show. This is a syndicated, multi-platform talk show supporting you on the collective journey we're all navigating called life. Soul family, every single conversation here is intentionally designed to empower you, to inspire you, and support you in shaping your soul, shifting your world, and returning home to your power so you can live fully in your effect, in your purpose here on this earth. The reason why you are living and breathing, the reason why you exist in your essence, in your design, and ultimately live life the way that you will it to be. This is your hub for soul-rooted conversations with thought leaders across music, entertainment, entrepreneurship, and wellness, all grounded in truth, intention, and this shared human experience called life. Listen live right here every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern on WBNC Breaking Chains Radio. Listen to it in Central Time, Mountain Time, Pacific Time. The Zen Effect Show is played in 80 plus countries. So just look up what 6 p.m. Eastern translates to your time zone. And if you missed it live, don't worry, we've got you covered. You can catch the replay on Spotify if you have Spotify, if you utilize Apple products, Apple Podcast, and if you utilize neither of these, go to YouTube. I got a YouTube channel. Stay connected and tap into the energy. Follow the Zen Effect Show on all social media platforms, specifically Instagram, Facebook, and I'm on TikTok. Slowly growing that. It's new, but we're there, y'all. We are there. Before I jump into today's conscious take, I want to give a shout out to Chris and Teeb. Chris and Teeb, what up, what up? Congratulations on the new song that you have out with Jiminelle. It is amazing. It is called Now. Go ahead, you all, and stream it, wherever you listen. It's all about being present, and it's all about being in the now. Last week on episode 185, I spoke on capacity matching, the love you want versus the capacity you hold. You all, such a moving episode. I've received such beautiful responses from that episode. Thank you so much. And this week, we're going to dive even deeper and talk about when capacity stops matching. So, soul family, let's get into it tonight. Not just about love, not just about dating, but about something deeper that touches every relationship dynamic in your life. Whether that be friends, whether that's partners, family, business relationships, the people you once laughed with for hours, spent time with for hours, the people that you once thought would be in your life forever. Tonight, I'm talking about something that most of us feel, but very few people know how to name it. And that is when capacity stops matching. When conversations with those individuals start feeling different. When you notice that you're growing, that you're evolving, that when you met them, when those experiences were taking place, you are at a different place in your life now. Or maybe you're the one who hasn't grown yet. Either way, the relationship dynamic, it feels off. And you may start asking questions like, why does this feel different now? What is off? I'm not able to put my finger on it, but I'm picking up on some energy here. Or why does it feel like we're speaking different languages? Truth is, sometimes relationships shift. Actually, they always shift. And that's because the capacity changed. Let's define something together. But before that, I'm going to touch on this again later in the episode. But relationships always shift. They either get deeper or not. Or it may shift. For instance, what comes alive for me in this moment is a marriage relationship, or you weren't married, but you had a child together and you shift from being lovers to co-parenting. Shifts. So let's discuss the definition of capacity. Capacity is about what someone is emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and energetically able to hold. Let me repeat that. Capacity is about what someone is emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and energetically able to hold. Let that land. Their ability to communicate, take accountability, grow, apologize, listen, evolve. Capacity is the container of the relationship. And when two people share similar capacity, relationships feel natural, organic, they flow. They're not forced. Even with disagreements, it flows. With disagreements, it's not so challenging. They're able to communicate and move forward and create a solution. There is space for conversation. There is space for repair. There is space for expansion. And it's all within truth, not fabrication, not false beliefs, not narratives and stories being created. But when capacity stops matching, the container begins to crack. It starts to leak. Because when a container cracks, it leaks. Now, here's the part that most people misunderstand. When capacity stops matching, it could look like one person expanded and the other did not. It could also look like maybe you both have expanded, but you're just moving in different directions in your life. Or one person is carrying more emotional weight than the other person knows how to hold. Or both people, like I said, could very much be evolving. Okay? There's a concept in psychology called emotional capacity. Researchers studying emotional intelligence through the Yale Center for Emotional Intelligence describe it as the ability to recognize, understand, manage, and respond to emotions, both your own and other people's. Your EQ. The Zen Effect Show is more than a talk show. It's more than a radio show. It's more than a podcast show. It's a global conversation about how we live, grow, expand, and connect. Broadcast across 80 plus countries, through WBNC Radio, and replayed on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcast, this platform brings together thought leaders, advocates, wellness experts, cultural voices, and everyday people navigating life's highs, hits, and everything in between. This is where real conversations happen and where conscious brands meet conscious audiences. My audience, they don't just consume content, they engage with it. They listen for transformation, they share what resonates, and they support brands that align with their values. What makes this platform different is that in today's media landscape, audiences can feel when something is authentic and when it isn't. The Zen Effect Show was built on truth, reflection, and real connection. Each and every episode creates space for conversations around wellness, relationships, personal evolution, community dialogue, advocacy, cultural wellness, and the emotional realities of navigating modern life. Brands who partner with this platform are not just placing an advertisement. They're becoming part of a larger conversation that actually matters, and they're becoming a part of a network of like-minded business entrepreneurs just like them that they can connect with. Our brand partners receive more than exposure. They receive a networking community. They receive intentional integration into a trusted space. Partnership opportunities include featured sponsored segments within the episodes, brand storytelling moments that align naturally with conversation, in-studio placement, cross-platform promotion on radio, podcast platforms, as well as social media. You get to be introduced to each and every one of my guests with the beautiful wellness bags that I provide for them to say thank you for joining the show. And that puts you in front of people who know and are connected with other people that can support your brand. Audience engagement through authentic dialogue, collaborative campaigns that amplify both the brand and the message. Because here, brand partnership and sponsorship is not an interruption. It's integration with purpose. When brands align with the Zen Effect Show, they connect with an audience that values wellness and self-care, community building, emotional intelligence, personal growth, culture, and social impact. These are listeners who invest in their brands that reflect their values, brands that help them live better, think better, and move through life more intentionally. That's the power of conscious partnership. If your brand believes in authentic connection, meaningful storytelling, wellness and human growth, community impact, and conscious media, and your brand is rooted in integrity, then I invite you to partner with the Zen Effect Show. Because when brands and conversations align, impact expands. To explore partnership opportunities with the Zen Effect Show, campaign collaborations, brand deals, and so much more. Let's create something meaningful together, because the conversations shaping people's lives deserve partners who believe in the same vision. This is the Zen Effect Show, where we shape souls, shift worlds, and support individuals in coming home to their power. respond? Do you react instead of respond? And what does your response look like? It's not what you say, it's how you say it. And I want to encourage you to always be in honesty about it. Do not sugarcoat it. Do not be passive aggressive with it. We want to be in consideration of the other person's feelings, but you do not want to dim your light, and you do not want to sugarcoat or lighten, and I put that in quotes, your message in doing so, because the energy of how you feel is there. So why not go ahead and get that out? Speak it, say it. How they receive it is how they receive it. How they perceive it is how they perceive it. That's when you can have a conversation around it if necessary, but you are not in control and you are not in command. You are not in control and you are not in command. You are not in control and you are not in command of how someone else thinks and perceives something. As long as you take ownership, as long as you take accountability, you are being honest and truthful about what happened. In simple language, emotional capacity is how much human complexity someone can sit with. Can they sit with disagreement? Can they sit with the discomfort? Can they sit with someone else's growth? I want to speak to something, actually. An experience that I had where someone very dear to me, one of my spiritual sisters, was experiencing a breakup. And I experiencing the opposite of that. However, my spiritual sister was able to show up for me, be present, meet my person, and celebrate with me. I acknowledged what she was experiencing. I acknowledged that. That's meeting capacity in a friendship. Those are the individuals I love being friends with, because I'm going to show up in the same way. My experience is my experience. I love you. I'm happy for you. I want to celebrate with you. That is emotional intelligence. If the situation was with them meeting that person, if it was a situation where what they were experiencing is something they're really navigating through to the point where they know that them being there, they're choosing not to be. And it's just that simple. Because right now they're focused on the emotions and everything that's coming up for them. That's also emotional intelligence. And self-awareness. And being in consideration of the all. Can they sit with someone else's growth? I'm going to repeat that again. Because growth can be uncomfortable. Expansion is disruptive. Because you're expanding. You're expanding out of the current capacity that you are in into the more. When something expands, do you feel that it's going to always feel amazing? You may feel some tightness. There may be some overwhelm. You may feel some pressure, whatever the case may be. Transformation changes the dynamics of every relationship around you. When you are growing, your relationships will shift. Your relationships will change. And the greater the shift, the greater the change, depends on where the people are in your life and are you meeting capacity? Are they growing? And like I said before, they may be growing and you may be growing in two different directions. Clearing out space and making room for those that are being called and drawn into your life and them doing the same. And here is something fascinating. Long-term relationship studies conducted by researchers at the Gottman Institute show that one of the biggest predictors of relationship stability actually isn't compatibility. It's responsiveness, how you respond, how you communicate. If one person keeps reaching and the other person doesn't have the capacity to meet them, eventually somebody's gonna get tired. We're currently in the year 2026, and we're living in a time where people are healing trauma, they're learning boundaries, they're entering therapy, they're reading self-development books, they're really deep diving into old family patterns, unlearning, recognizing false beliefs. More people are becoming emotionally aware than ever before. Growth isn't happening at the same pace for everyone, you all. It's not. It's not. Even if you're growing, or even if you're the one not growing and the other person is, their energy of growth does not mean that your pace is going to match theirs. And again, this is where living in your purpose, living in your essence, living in your design truly takes place. Some people are doing deep inner work. Some people are not. Some may still be in survivor mode, scarcity mode, victimhood mode. Some are expanding their emotional vocabulary through learning and actually executing how to communicate their emotions. Let's have some grace for those individuals. Let's be in inquiry with those individuals as they're doing this. And I want to celebrate those who are in that space. No matter what age you are, I want to celebrate you for getting there. And as frustrating as it can be, you're doing it. You have the awareness. And that's massive and deserves a huge congratulations and celebration. And there are others that were not taught how to talk about feelings at all. In fact, most humans are not. So what we're witnessing right now in friendships, families, and romantic relationships is growth gaps. One person evolving, another person staying the same. And suddenly conversations that used to feel quote unquote normal may now feel exhausting. Energy that once felt aligned feels off. And that's when you hear phrases like "you've changed." However, changing is exactly what growth requires. You're not able to expand into the more of yourself and stay in the same energy that you were in. Instead of saying you've changed, something's different. and giving those examples. We went from this to that. And there's a disconnect for me as to what happened. Or maybe you're very clear on what happened. So state what happened. Or it seems ever since this occurred, this is different. For instance, your best friend, they're engaged, they're dating, they're spending more time with that person, and you miss them. Communicating that. Maybe you're a part of a community and that person is really expanding in their business, their career field. They're not around as much anymore. Communicating that. Maybe it's a family member or someone and their health is shifting. They're getting the dementia and things that's really shifting the cognitive. Be honest with them about that, how difficult that is for you. Talk to one another. Communicate. Because just because something shifts does not mean that it is the end. But what it does mean is that the dynamic, the structure of it must change, must shift. And sometimes it must evolve to where you move forward your way and that person moves forward their way. No hard feelings, no resentments, no regrets. Just this is where you are right now. Where capacity stops matching. It can happen in romantic relationships. One partner is doing emotional work, the other avoids hard conversations. Friendships. One friend is evolving spiritually, mentally, professionally, and the other wants to stay within the old patterns. Family relationships. You start setting boundaries and suddenly you're labeled difficult. Professional partnerships. One person wants growth, innovation, vision, and the other wants comfort and what feels familiar. Truth is, if you're wanting to elevate in your career field, in your job, in your business, you're not able to do that in being in comfort and with what's familiar, because of the important component of change. When capacity stops matching, the relationship indefinitely has to change, has to shift, has to restructure, or has to go its separate ways. Not because love disappeared, but because the alignment shifted. Here's where things sometimes gets messy when capacity stops matching. People often interpret it as rejection, and that is what it's not. You think you're better than me. You changed. You're acting different. Or blaming it on ever since you had that business, you don't have time for nothing else. Ever since you got married, you exiled the rest of us, whatever the case may be. Expansion isn't arrogance, you all. When you start seeing things differently, you're not able to unsee them. That doesn't mean that you stop loving the person. You've been healing, learning, growing, reflecting, pausing, being present. And your relationships may be feeling tight. Here's the truth. Growth can feel lonely because when you change, Your relationships must reorganize around the new version of you. Truth is that some people will grow with you. Some people will celebrate you. Some people will feel inspired by your evolution. And some people will feel threatened by it. Not because they don't love you, not because they don't care, but because your growth reminds them of the work they haven't started yet, or the work that they are plateauing or feel stagnant in. This is the undercurrent of manifestation, you all. I've spoken on this on a previous episode. The deconstruction that is necessary to take place, the demolishing. And there are times where you can be in the midst of all that you just feel alone. You just feel alone. Have you ever heard of growing pains? That's because growth does not feel comfortable. But when it comes to that undercurrent of the manifestation, centering yourself, grounding yourself, immensing yourself in self-love, self-care, because there's no such thing as too much of it. Now let's speak to the other side. Maybe you're listening and realizing someone in your life, growth has accelerated, and that feels uncomfortable for you. Remember this truth that discomfort is information, and really be with the information that it's presenting to you. Be present with it instead of shutting it down. Ask yourself these questions. Where am I being invited to expand? Where have I avoided growth? Where am I reacting instead of reflecting? Where am I taking that pause so that I don't react? Because it's important to acknowledge the reaction from within and ask yourself, am I reacting or am I responding? Growth gaps don't have to destroy relationships. They become invitations to evolve forward, to evolve upward, to expand more. Let's pause for a moment. After this brief interlude, however, my ask to you is to just be present in this moment with the music and be present with where this information will land for you. question to you is this: where in your life has capacity stopped matching? Is it in a friendship? Is it in a romantic relationship, a family dynamic, a professional partnership? Now ask yourself this: has the relationship changed because someone grew? And look at that. Did they grow? Did you grow? Or is it because someone stopped growing? And maybe even you both stopped growing. And here's a deeper one for you. Where might you be the one resisting expansion? Because growth conversations require honesty, not blame, not projection. We're not playing the blame game over here. If you want someone to take ownership and be accountable with you, you must always do the same. Always. Because if you don't, you seem like a hypocrite. So what do you do when capacity stops matching? First, acknowledge it by naming it. Communicate honestly. Communicate, not accusing, not blaming, but expressing that I feel like we're in two different places right now. I want to understand how we can connect. Thirdly, give relationships the room necessary to evolve. Because the truth is, not every relationship is meant to stay the same. Forever, it's going to evolve. You're going to either get closer together or you're not. And some shift to different roles. Some grow deeper and some grow apart. And fourth, I want you to expand on your own expansion. You cannot force someone else to grow. You can remain committed to your own development. And when you do that, the relationships meant for you will naturally align for you. Truth is, relationships are living ecosystems. They breathe, they evolve, they transform, and sometimes they outgrow the version of us that created them. Woo! Listen to that truth. But that doesn't erase the love. As I stated earlier, it doesn't erase the memories. It doesn't erase the impact someone had on your life. It simply means the relationship reached its capacity. Life is asking something new from both of you. It's an invitation for you both to expand into the more of yourself. So before you judge a relationship for changing, before you assume someone abandoned you, before you assume someone thinks they're better than you are, pause and ask yourself the deeper question: has capacity shifted? Because when capacity matches, relationships feel like flow, and they flow with ease. But when capacity stops matching, life begins rearranging people, conversations, and connections to align you. And alignment is where peace lives. So I want to encourage you today to keep growing, keep expanding, keep becoming love more honest with yourself and others, and trust that the relationships meant for your next level. It's meant for your next level, the next elevation of you. And trust the relationships that are meant for your next level because you manifested it. Will you have the capacity to meet you there? And when they do, again, it will not feel forced, confusing, irritating. It doesn't just shift relationships, it urges the changes, the miraculous changes of life. Taking an honest self-inventory first, always, no matter the situation, no matter the circumstance, no matter the experience. Taking an honest self-inventory of yourself first. Working with a life coach, mentorship, therapy. I recommend working with a coach and therapy because both of those together are very well-rounded. Therapy is really going to support you in the self-inventory, and life coaching is going to take you beyond that. So you're able to ground that in a very optimal, beautiful, progressive way. It could look like financial literacy for you. Spiritual grounding is key. Your communication practice. How do you communicate? We talked about this. Respond instead of reacting. And accountability. Truth is that relational flow isn't demanded, it's cultivated. And when you expand, you don't have to chase, you don't have to script, you don't have to control. Again, you don't have to chase, you don't have to script, you don't have to control. You become magnetic to your aligned capacity. To where things are literally just coming to you. You all, this journey is all energetic. It's all about energy, synergy, awareness, your intuition. Listen to it. We all have moments where we have not. But let's talk about exercising the muscle to do so. Your intuition, when you are truly living in a space of truth, when you are truly not caught up in their narrative and caught up in the story, your intuition is crystal clear. We are sensory beings. We are meant to feel, because when we feel, we are present, and when we are present, we are more aware. Come on, somebody. When we feel, we are present. There is a message within the feeling. And from that comes awareness. Zen, how can I be more self-aware? Be present. Be fully engaged in the moment. Fully engaged in the moment. Oftentimes, you all, in my schedule, there are various things occurring. I'm in communication often with very many people. And no matter what is occurring, I always remind myself, be present in this moment. What you are doing right now takes priority. It takes precedence. Be present with that. Be present with that. I want to encourage each and every one of you to start prioritizing. Even if it's necessary for you to write it down, what is priority in this moment and what is not? And oftentimes within that experience, if somebody else has waited on something, I'm not on their timeline. Because if they've waited and there is something that has taken priority when I am being approached with it, then it will have to wait until what I prioritize has been completed. I want to speak to capacity within your schedule. I am currently living in how did my spiritual sister put it? Multi-dimensional living, multifaceted living. And what that looks like is I am involved in a variety of things that I'm passionate about, that I care about, and some that are necessary for this moment in time. However, and in the midst of that, there are the important relational dynamics that I have. And for many, right now, life can be very overwhelming. A lot of conversations I'm having with people is that people are very busy right now. It seems like with work, places of employment, they're very busy on top of balancing everything else. And relational dynamics that are not in alignment with you, that do not meet your capacity, can feel very weighing on you. Very weighing. How do you lighten it? You get very present with it. I had someone send me a message that really warmed my heart and touched my soul. And they had mentioned that they want to be around more people like myself now that they are in a space of building and dedication and devotion to it, to what they're doing. They want to be around people who also do that in their lives, and that's so important. My question to you is this. With last week's episode 185, that you can listen to the replay on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and with today's episode, with this awareness, with this knowledge, with this insight, what will you choose? And I'm speaking from experience. What will you choose? With everything mentioned, how will you apply this to your life and navigate it accordingly? What is necessary for you to be present with, or for you to be more present with, or what's necessary for you to stop avoiding altogether? So something else about capacity is mindset. So people around you how they move in a way that is how you move. There's a resonating energy there that's in alignment, because people around you, it's necessary for them to be in the same or similar network as you are. Not just network in what you're building and creating as a career, but also their net worth of themselves. It must be in alignment with your net worth. People who are also able to enjoy the things that you enjoy. You want to have fun. You want to take vacations. You want to do trips, whatever the case may be that you want inside your warm circle, your tribe, your inner community, your ecosystem. Their ecosystem, the way that they move, the way that they flow must be in alignment with the way that you move and the way that you flow. Because it's so interesting, because I'm thinking of a situation in my mind right now. But there's a saying that says, be around people who are elevated in a way to where you want to go. People who are achieving success more so than you. That is true to a certain extent. However, that puts you in the position of you being the observer, the student, and the pupil, and learning from them, and then more so being the mentor. When it comes to your warm inner circle, so what I just referred to is a completely separate and different relationship dynamic. When I'm talking about the person, your partner, your lover, your warm circle, your friends, your sisterhood, your brotherhood, your business partnerships, even those in your family, it all must align with the ecosystem that you are building, that you are creating, that you're even presently in. You all, there's so much deep dive in this conversation, and I'm so excited to announce to you that I am creating a Patreon. Once the Patreon is up and ready, it is actively being created right now in this moment. It will not be long till it is up and it is published, and I would love for you to join this Patreon. This Patreon is a place where our community can gather. This space is for those who support the Zen Effect Show. They're listeners of the Zen Effect Show. You're part of the Soul family. It's also for individuals who are prioritizing living in their highest potential, intentional living, conscious living, personal development, those who enjoy those things. It's also going to be for those of you who are entrepreneurs, business owners. You can be in entertainment, music, wellness, personal development, spirituality, to network with one another. That's right. I'm creating a community space for you. This is all in the Patreon, you all. There will be different tiers that are affordable tiers where we can have conversation. The networking tier, that's all about networking, the community and connection with one another and building those business relationships to support amplifying your voice even further. When it comes to the community tier, that's going to be where we have chats and conversations about episodes where we can dive deeper. You will have tools, resources to support you in navigating life's highs and hits, and chats to do the same. This is a beautiful space. I'm so excited about it. So to stay tuned, what's necessary is to follow me on YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow me on Instagram if you have Instagram. Follow me on the Facebook group. Follow me on TikTok. And all you got to do is search the Zen Effect Show, or to make it even easier, go to my website, www.thezeneffectco, that's co.com, and you are able to access my YouTube, my social media platforms. It'll take you click on it directly to the page, and you can subscribe and follow from there. Take what resonated with you today, carry it into your week, and let it activate something real in you. And if you're ready to amplify your brand right here on the Zen Effect Show, I'm accepting brand deals, brand partnerships, paid ads. Visit thezeneffectco.com or email me at thezeneffectco@gmail.com. I'm your host, Zen Howard, and this is the Zen Effect Show. Remember to let your effect speak before words do. Keep your soul hydrated and keep your spirit fortified. And I look forward to next week's show, where we will actually be continuing this series. And after that, we're back to the interviews, you all. I'm so excited. I go into the studio this weekend, and I'm so excited to bring y'all even more interviews. I got some great ones lined up. We are booked and busy here at the Zen Effect Show. And if you're interested in being a guest on the Zen Effect Show, then go ahead and visit my website. And on my website, fill out that form, upload your media deck, and let's have a conversation. And if you're aligned, you're welcome to come on the show, you all. Until next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, again, we're played in all time zones in the United States and the 80 plus countries. So see when it's 6 p.m. Eastern time zone, what that converts to in your time zone, and tune in, you all. Looking forward to next Tuesday, and until then, stay elevated.